The gunshot echoed through the warehouse, and Maya hit the ground hard. Her heart hammered against her ribs as she rolled behind a steel container, dust choking her lungs. This wasn't how her story was supposed to end. But then again, nothing about her life had gone the way it was supposed to. Maya, stay down. Min's voice cut through the chaos, sharp and commanding. She heard another shot, then Jin's lighter tone, almost playful despite the danger. Got him on the left. Min, you're 3 o'clock. Maya pressed her back against the cold metal, her hands trembling. 5 years ago, she never imagined she'd be here, caught in a gunfight in a Los Angeles warehouse, fighting alongside the two men who owned her heart. 5 years ago, she was just a girl whose father destroyed her life with a single decision. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's go back to where it really began. Hit like and subscribe, and let's dive in. Maya Brooks sat in her cramped South LA apartment, staring at the eviction notice in her hand. 24 years old, working 2 jobs, and it still wasn't enough. Her phone buzzed. Dad. She almost didn't answer. Maya. Baby, I need you to come home. Right now. His voice was shaking. Dad, I can't. I have a shift in. Maya, please. It's important. Something in his tone made her stomach drop. 30 minutes later, she pushed open the door to her childhood home and froze. 3 men in expensive suits filled the small living room. Her father sat on the couch, his face gray, his hands clasped between his knees like a prayer that had already been denied. Dad, what's going on? One of the men turned. He was older, with silver at his temples and eyes that had seen too much. Miss Brooks, your father has accumulated a significant debt. $500,000, to be precise. The room tilted. What? Her father finally looked up, tears streaming down his face. I'm sorry, baby. The gambling I couldn't stop, and I kept thinking I'd win it back, that I'd make it right. 500,000? Maya's voice cracked. How could you? We've made arrangements, the silver-haired man continued, his tone businesslike, detached. Mr. Brooks has agreed to settle his debt through alternative means. I don't have that kind of money, Maya said, her voice hardening. None of us do. You'll have to. The debt has been purchased by the park organization, and they've requested you specifically as payment. The words didn't make sense. Payment. Her. She looked at her father, waiting for him to explain, to tell her this was some sick joke. Instead, he looked away. You sold me. The words came out as a whisper. You sold me? Like I'm some kind of property? Maya, I had no choice. They were going to kill me. So you gave them your daughter instead? She backed toward the door, her vision blurring with tears. I'm a person, not a poker chip. The silver-haired man stepped forward. Miss Brooks, if you refuse, your father's debt will be collected in other ways. The Park brothers are offering marriage, not servitude. You'll be well cared for. Marriage? Maya's laugh was bitter. To who? To both of them. Jin and Min Park. Twins. Your father's debt becomes void the moment you sign the papers. Both. The room spun. This is insane. This is illegal. Actually, the man said, pulling out documents, it's perfectly legal. A private contract, binding and enforceable. You have 24 hours to decide. If you refuse, well... He glanced at her father. Debts must be paid one way or another. Maya looked at her father one last time. The man who taught her to ride a bike, who worked double shifts to keep food on the table after Mom left. That man was gone. In his place sat a coward who traded his daughter's freedom for his own survival. I'll do it, she heard herself say. But I'll never forgive you. Never. 24 hours later, Maya stood in front of a mansion in Beverly Hills that looked like it belonged in a movie. Wrought iron gates, manicured lawns, security cameras tracking her every move. The silver-haired man, who she now knew was called Mr. Choi, led her through marble hallways that echoed with each step. The Park brothers are expecting you in the main room, he said, then disappeared. Maya's hands were clenched so tight her nails drew blood. The doors opened and she stepped inside. 2 men stood by the window, identical in every physical way. Both tall, lean, with sharp features and dark eyes that tracked her entrance. But even from across the room, Maya could feel the difference between them. One smiled, warm and disarming. You must be Maya. I'm Jean. His voice was gentle, like he was greeting a guest, not a woman who'd been sold to him. The other didn't smile. His gaze was intense, measuring. Min, he said simply. Welcome to your new home. This isn't my home, Maya shot back, her voice stronger than she felt. This is a prison. Jin's smile faltered. Min's expression didn't change at all. We understand this isn't what you wanted, Jean said, moving closer. Maya instinctively stepped back. But we didn't exactly choose this either. Our organization has rules, traditions. Your father's debt was significant, and this is how things are settled. So I'm just a transaction to you, a business deal. Min finally moved, his presence somehow filling the room despite his silence. You're our wife now. That means something to us, even if it doesn't mean anything to you yet. Wife. Maya's voice rose. I don't even know you. And you expect me to just, what? Play house? Pretend this is normal. No one's asking you to pretend, Min said, his voice low and controlled. We're asking you to survive this. Same as us. A woman appeared in the doorway, older with kind eyes. Dinner is ready, she said softly, her gaze lingering on Maya with something like sympathy. Maya, this is Mrs. Chun, Jean said. She manages the house. If you need anything at all, she'll help you. Mrs. Chun gave a small bow. Your room is prepared, dear. Top of the stairs, third door on the left. Take your time. Maya wanted to scream. She wanted to run. Instead, she followed Mrs. Chun up the grand staircase, each step feeling like she was walking further away from the life she knew. The bedroom was bigger than her entire apartment. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city, the lights of Los Angeles stretching endlessly into the night. Maya stood there, numb, until Mrs. Chun gently touched her shoulder. I know this is hard, child, but those boys, they're not what you think. Maya turned, anger flashing. They bought me. What else is there to think? Mrs. Chen's expression softened. Give it time. That's all I ask. She left, closing the door with a soft click. Maya was alone. She looked at the king-sized bed, the expensive furniture, the attached bathroom with a tub big enough to swim in. None of it mattered. She was still a prisoner. She curled up on the floor by the window and cried until there was nothing left. A knock woke her hours later. She'd fallen asleep on the carpet, her body aching. Go away, she called out, her voice hoarse. The door opened anyway. Jean stepped in, carrying a tray. You didn't eat dinner. I thought you might be hungry. I said go away. He set the tray down on the nightstand, then surprised her by sitting on the floor across from her, maintaining distance. I can't imagine what you're feeling right now, he said quietly. But starving yourself won't change anything. You don't know anything about me. You're right. I don't. But I'd like to. His eyes were sincere, and that somehow made it worse. I know you think we're monsters. Maybe we are. But we didn't ask for this life either, Maya. Our parents were killed when we were 16. The organization took us in, raised us, and now we run it. We don't get to choose our path any more than you did. That's not the same thing, isn't it? He stood, heading for the door. Get some rest. Tomorrow will be easier. Or it won't. But either way, you'll face it. He paused. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. I'm sorry your father did this. I'm sorry we're the reason you're here. But I'm not sorry we met you. He left before she could respond. Maya stared at the closed door, confusion mixing with her anger. She grabbed the sandwich from the tray and ate it mechanically. Survival. That's what Min had said. Fine. She'd survive. But she'd never forgive any of them. 3 weeks passed in a strange, suspended reality. Maya barely spoke to the twins. She explored the massive house, spent hours in the library, and had long conversations with Mrs. Chun, who told her stories about the neighborhood, about the other families, about everything except the parks themselves. Jean tried daily. He'd bring her coffee in the morning, exactly how she liked it, even though she never told him. He'd leave books by her door, Korean dramas queued up on the TV, small gestures that chipped away at her resolve without her permission. Min was different. He watched her with those intense eyes, said little, but his presence was everywhere. When she walked through certain hallways, security appeared. When she ventured toward the front gate, he was suddenly there, not stopping her, just standing close enough that she knew leaving wasn't really an option. "Why do you follow me?" she finally snapped one evening, catching him in the garden where she'd been reading. "I'm not following you. I'm protecting you." "From what?" "From people who'd use you to get to us. From yourself, if needed." He moved closer and Maya's breath caught. Up close, she could see the slight scar above his eyebrow, the way his jaw tightened when he was thinking. "You hate us. That's fine. But you're ours now and we protect what's ours." "I'm not a possession." "No," he agreed, his voice dropping. "You're not. You're our wife. There's a difference." He walked away, leaving Maya's heart racing for reasons she refused to examine. That night, she couldn't sleep. She wandered downstairs and found Jin in the kitchen, cooking. The smell of garlic and sesame oil filled the air. "Can't sleep either?" he asked, not turning around. "What are you making?" "Kimchi fried rice. My mom's recipe. Well, the version I remember anyway." He glanced back, offering a small smile. "Want some?" Maya should have said no, should have maintained her distance. Instead, she sat at the counter. "Okay." They ate in silence for a while, then Jean spoke. "You know, Min and I used to cook with our mom every Sunday. She'd teach us traditional dishes, tell us stories about growing up in Seoul. After she died, food was the only way we could still feel close to her." "I'm sorry," Maya said, and meant it. "About your parents. I'm sorry about yours too. Different kind of loss, but loss all the same." Something cracked in Maya's chest. She set down her fork. "Why are you being so nice to me? I've been nothing but hostile." Jean turned to face her fully. "Because you deserve kindness, Maya. What happened to you is wrong. We can't change it, but we can choose how we treat you now. Min and I, we agreed from day one that you'd never be afraid in this house. Never be hurt. You can hate us forever if you need to, but you'll be safe. You'll be respected. That's not negotiable." Tears pricked Maya's eyes. "I don't understand you." "You don't have to. Not yet." He smiled. "But maybe someday you will." The next morning, Maya woke to shouting downstairs. She rushed down to find Min in the foyer, blood on his knuckles, Jean trying to pull him back from a man on the floor. "What's happening?" Maya demanded. Min's eyes were blazing. "This piece of trash thought he could disrespect you. Thought he could say things about our wife and walk away." The man on the floor groaned. "I didn't mean." "Get out," Jean said coldly, his usual warmth completely gone. "And tell everyone what happens when someone crosses the Park family." Security dragged the man away. Min turned to Maya, his breathing still heavy. "Did he touch you? Yesterday, when you were in town with Mrs. Chun, did he approach you?" Maya remembered the man at the market, how he'd made a crude comment, how Mrs. Chun had hurried her away. "He said something. I ignored him. No one speaks to you like that. No one." Min's voice was hard as stone. "You're under our protection, Maya. That means something in this world." For the first time, Maya saw what the Park twins really were. Not just wealthy men, not just her captors. They were dangerous, powerful, and they'd just drawn blood to defend her honor. "You didn't have to do that," she whispered. "Yes," Min said simply. "We did." Jean stepped forward, his hand gentle on her arm. "Are you okay?" Maya nodded, overwhelmed. These men who she tried so hard to hate had just fought for her, protected her, treated her like she mattered. "Thank you," she managed. Min's expression softened slightly, and Jean squeezed her arm. In that moment, something shifted. The walls Maya had built so carefully began to crack. 2 months later, everything had changed. Maya found herself laughing at Jin's terrible jokes, found herself seeking out Min's quiet presence when the world felt too loud. She'd stopped sleeping on the floor and started joining them for meals. Started asking questions about their business, their lives, their scars. But the confusion was eating her alive. She cornered them one evening in Min's office, her heart pounding. "We need to talk." Both twins looked up from the documents they'd been reviewing. Min's eyes narrowed. "What's wrong?" "I feel like I'm losing my mind," Maya blurted out. "I feel different things for each of you, and I hate it. I hate that I care. I hate that when Jean makes me laugh, I feel guilty because I want Min's intensity too. I hate that I'm falling for both of you when I should hate you. What's wrong with me? The silence stretched. Then Jean stood, crossing to her. Nothing is wrong with you, Maya. Nothing. How can you say that? I'm supposed to love one person, not. Who made that rule? Min cut in, rising from his chair. Love isn't a pie that gets smaller when you share it. What you feel for Jean doesn't diminish what you feel for me. They're different, but both are real. I don't understand how this works, Maya whispered. Jean cupped her face gently. It works because we make it work. You love me for the light I bring. You love Min for the fire. Neither is less than the other. Neither is wrong. Min moved behind her, his presence solid and grounding. Stop fighting it, Maya. Stop hating yourself for having a heart big enough for both of us. Maya turned, looking between them. Jin's warmth, Min's intensity. Two halves of something she never knew she needed. I'm scared. So are we, Jin admitted. But we're scared together. Min's hand found hers. Stay with us. Not because of debt or obligation. Stay because you want to. Maya's answer came in the form of pulling Jean close and reaching for Min. The kiss they shared was desperate, claiming, a promise of something neither simple nor easy, but undeniably real. 6 months passed in a blur of happiness Maya never expected. She was pregnant with twins, and the irony wasn't lost on anyone. Jean was constantly hovering, bringing her snacks, rubbing her feet. Min had converted an entire wing into a nursery, personally overseeing every security measure. Then the Riveras made their move. Maya was at a charity event downtown with Mrs. Chen when the black SUV cut them off. Men poured out, guns drawn. Mrs. Chen screamed. Maya's world exploded into chaos as someone grabbed her, dragging her toward the vehicle. No, she fought, clawing, but a hand clamped over her mouth. Then gunfire erupted. The man holding her dropped, and suddenly Min was there, fury incarnate, taking down attackers with brutal efficiency. Jean appeared from the other side, weapon drawn, calm and deadly. Touch my wife again. Min snarled at the surviving attacker, and I'll make sure you beg for death. They rushed Maya to the car. Her hands were shaking, adrenaline making everything sharp and terrible. What just happened? The Riveras, Jean said, his jaw tight. They're making a play for our territory. They thought taking you would give them leverage. They thought wrong, Min growled. Back at the mansion, Maya watched as the twins coordinated with their people. Phones rang constantly. Men in suits came and went. The business she tried to ignore was suddenly, violently real. We need to end this, Min said, slamming his fist on the desk. Now. Jean nodded. Agreed. But we do it smart. We've been working with the FBI on the trafficking ring Rivera's been running. We give them what they need, they take him down. That could take weeks. Months. We don't have that kind of time, Jean countered. Maya's pregnant. We can't risk. I'm right here, Maya interrupted. Both men looked at her. And I'm not some fragile thing you need to protect from reality. Tell me the plan. All of it. Min's eyes flashed with something like pride. We use their greed against them. Rivera wants our territory. We let him think he's winning. Set a trap. When he comes for us, the FBI moves in. And if it goes wrong, Maya asked. It won't, Jean said firmly. We've spent 2 years building this case. Rivera's operation is brutal, and he's been sloppy. We have everything we need. 3 days later, the trap was set. But what Maya didn't know was that she was the bait. She was in the East Garden when she heard the commotion. Men shouting. Gunfire. She ran toward the house and froze. Rivera himself stood in the foyer, gun pointed at Mrs. Chen's head. There she is, Rivera said, smiling coldly. The park's precious wife. You're coming with me, sweetheart. Let Mrs. Chen go, Maya said, her voice steadier than she felt. Your fight is with the twins, not her. My fight is with anyone who gets in my way. Rivera gestured with the gun. Move. Now. Maya started forward. Then the lights cut out. Chaos erupted. She hit the ground as gunfire lit up the darkness. When the lights came back on, Rivera was on his knees, surrounded by FBI agents. Min had Mrs. Chun, checking her for injuries. Jean was beside Maya, his hands framing her face. Are you hurt? The babies. We're okay, Maya breathed. Is it over? It's over, Jean confirmed. Rivera's done. His whole operation is going down. But Maya saw something in Min's expression. What aren't you telling me? Min exchanged a glance with Jean. Rivera wasn't working alone. His son, Marcus Rivera, is still out there. And he just swore revenge. Maya's blood ran cold. So it's not over. No, Min said quietly. It's not. 2 years of peace followed. Maya gave birth to twin boys, Marcus and Leo. Perfect and beautiful. The park organization transitioned more of their business legitimate. Jean started a tech company. Min invested in real estate. They were building something clean for their sons. Then Maya got pregnant again. A daughter this time. She was 3 months along when the kindergarten called. Mrs. Park, there's been an incident. Maya's heart stopped. What kind of incident? 2 men tried to take Marcus and Leo from the playground. Security stopped them, but Maya didn't hear the rest. She was already running for the car, calling Min, someone tried to take our boys. The rage in Min's voice was terrifying. Where are you? Going to the school. Stay on the line. Jean and I are 5 minutes out. At the school. Maya held her sons close, both boys crying, confused. The principal explained that the men claimed to be family friends, but the security guard got suspicious and intervened. Jean and Min arrived like a storm. Min immediately pulled his family close while Jean spoke rapidly with security, reviewing footage. His face went white. It's Marcus Rivera, Jean said. He's here, in LA, and he just made a move on our children. That night, the twins held a war council. Maya insisted on being present. He wants revenge for his father, Min said, his voice ice. He won't stop until he gets it. Then we don't wait for him to strike again, Maya said. Both men looked at her. We go after him first. Maya, you're pregnant, Jean protested. And our sons were almost kidnapped today. I'm not sitting on the sidelines while some psychopath threatens our family. She stood, fire in her eyes. I'm not the scared girl you married anymore. I'm a mother, and I will protect my children. Min smiled, dangerous and proud. Then let's end this. They set another trap, but this time Maya was part of the planning. Marcus Rivera wanted the Parks. He'd get them, all 3 of them. The warehouse meeting was scheduled for midnight. Marcus thought he was meeting a corrupt cop willing to sell information. Instead, he found Maya. You. Marcus laughed, circling her. They sent their pretty wife to do their dirty work. Maya kept her expression neutral, though her heart was racing. The wire under her shirt felt obvious, burning against her skin. They didn't send me. I came because you made this personal when you touched my children. Those boys should have been mine to use as leverage, Marcus spat. My father died in prison because of your husbands. They destroyed everything. Your father was a monster who trafficked human beings, Maya shot back. He deserved worse than prison. Marcus pulled his gun. Big words for someone so alone. Who said she was alone? Min's voice cut through the darkness as he emerged from behind a container, weapon drawn. Jean appeared on the opposite side, flanking Marcus perfectly. Marcus spun, realizing too late he was surrounded. This is a setup. Obviously, Jean said, his usual warmth completely absent. Did you really think we'd let you anywhere near our family again? You're going to kill me? Marcus backed up, desperate. Right here. No, Min said coldly. We're better than that now. But the FBI has been very interested in your activities. Turns out you've been continuing Daddy's work. Human trafficking, weapons, drugs. They have enough to put you away for life. Sirens wailed in the distance, growing closer. Marcus's face twisted with rage. He raised his gun toward Maya. If I'm going down, I'm taking her with me. The gunshot that opened our story rang out. Maya hit the ground as both twins returned fire. When the smoke cleared, Marcus was down, wounded but alive. FBI agents swarmed the warehouse. It was finally over. 3 years later, Maya stood in the kitchen of their home, now relocated to a sprawling estate in Calabasas, watching her family. Marcus and Leo, now 5, were playing with their 3-year-old sister Zara. Baby Amara was on her hip, and she was 7 months pregnant with their 5th child, a boy they'd name Elijah. Jean was at the stove, cooking bulgogi and collard greens, a fusion that had become their Sunday tradition. Min walked in from the office, immediately reaching for Amara and kissing Maya's temple. How was the meeting? Maya asked. Good. The tech deal is closing next week. We're officially out of the life, baby. Everything legal, everything clean. Min's smile was genuine, proud. Our kids will never know what we came from. Jean plated the food, calling the kids to the table. As they gathered, laughing and chaotic and perfect, Maya felt Jin's hand find hers under the table, Min's arm around her shoulders. Mom, tell us the story again. Marcus begged through a mouthful of rice. About how you and Dad and Papa got married. Maya exchanged glances with the twins. They'd agreed to tell the children an age-appropriate version when they were older, but for now, the story was simple. Well, it wasn't a traditional wedding, she started, because you married both of them. Leo chimed in excitedly. That's so cool. It is cool, Zara agreed. My friend Sarah only has one dad. We have two. Min chuckled. That's right, princess. Your mom has a big heart. Big enough for all of us. After dinner, after baths and bedtime stories and tucking in 5 beautiful children, Maya finally collapsed on the couch between her husbands. Jin's head rested on her shoulder. Min's fingers traced patterns on her swollen belly. Do you ever regret it? Jean asked softly. How we started? Maya was quiet for a moment, thinking back to that terrified girl who'd been sold to pay a debt, who'd felt like nothing more than property. Then she thought about the woman she'd become. Strong, loved, a mother, a wife to 2 incredible men who'd shown her that love didn't have to fit into society's neat little boxes. I regret how it happened, she said finally. I regret that my father's choices took away my choice. But I don't regret where it led. I don't regret you, either of you. I don't regret our children or this life we've built. You saved us too, you know, Min said, his voice rough with emotion. Before you, Jean and I were just surviving, going through motions. You gave us something to fight for, something worth being better for. We were incomplete, Jean added. The 3 of us we fit, like pieces of a puzzle we didn't know was missing parts. Maya kissed Jin's forehead, then turned to capture Min's lips. I love you both, differently but equally. My light and my fire. Our brave heart, they said in unison, and Maya smiled at the nickname they'd given her that night in the warehouse when she'd refused to back down. Later, in their bedroom, the bedroom Maya had once cried herself to sleep in, feeling like a prisoner, she stood between them. Min's hands were on her hips, possessive and gentle. Jin's fingers traced her spine, worshipful and tender. You'll take the both of us tonight, Min murmured against her neck, and it wasn't a question. It was a promise, a reminder of the night months into their marriage when everything had changed, when Maya had finally surrendered to what her heart had been telling her all along. Always, Maya whispered back. Both of you. Always. Their love was unconventional. It was complicated. It had been born from darkness and debt and desperation. But it was real. It was fierce. And it was theirs. As Maya fell asleep that night, wrapped between Jin's warmth and Min's strength, their daughter kicking against her belly, she thought about the girl she used to be. That girl had been sold. But this woman, she had chosen. Chosen love in its most unexpected form. Chosen family over fear. Chosen to believe that hearts were meant to expand, not divide. Her father had tried to destroy her by selling her to the Park twins. Instead, he'd given her everything she never knew she needed. 2 men who loved her without conditions. Children who would grow up knowing that love came in many forms, all of them valid. A life that proved redemption was possible, even from the darkest beginnings. Maya Brooks had been bought for $500,000, but the woman she'd become, she was priceless, and she was exactly where she belonged. If this story touched your heart, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below telling us what you think about Maya's journey. Would you have made the same choices? Could you love 2 people equally? Let's talk about it. And don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who believes in unconventional love stories. Because sometimes the best love stories are the ones that break all the rules. Maya's story reminds us that family isn't always about how you start. It's about who you choose to become and who you choose to love. From captive to queen, from victim to victor, her journey proves that even the darkest circumstances can lead to the brightest futures when you're brave enough to open your heart. This is her story. This is their love. And it's just beginning.